Chorus of the Empire, Desolation by Thomas Cole. Thomas Cole's painting Desolation is the fifth of a series of 5 paintings called The Chorus of the Empire, done during the Romantic period between the years 1833 to 1836. Desolation marks the conclusion of the once almighty Roman city, as well as the end of the awesomeness of man and its ability to control nature. The progression of these paintings illustrates Cole's intention of making nature appear superior over man. In Desolation, the crumbling of the once Roman structures, vegetation growing over the ruins of the city, and the moon and sky in the background portray nature's dominance over man by showing that man can only temporarily control nature, but it is not permanent. One of the characteristics that shows nature's dominance over man is the crumbling of what is left of the once Roman structures. Forces of nature such as weathering and erosion have taken their toll on the structures and have left them in ruins. This marks the end of man's control over nature. The pillars in the background, right behind the large pillar in the foreground, are falling and breaking apart. Also in the background and to the left of the pillar in the foreground is a village with large, tall structures that are also crumbling. These structures, which were virtually indestructible by man, are easily destroyed by forces of nature. What once belonged to man is now returning to nature. Another of these characteristics is nature growing over the ruins of the city. The vegetation growing over the large pillar in the foreground and also on the remains of the bridge to the right of the pillar demonstrates the return of nature back to its original state of control. Notice how the vegetation on both structures is growing upwards. This symbolically supports the idea of nature rising to control once again. The general rugged and abandoned look of the landscape helps illustrate the idea of nature being in control. The viewer can tell by the look of the landscape that nature has not been interrupted for a long time. Vegetation is growing all over the place. At one point, there were more man-made structures than vegetation, but now there is more nature than anything. The third and last of these characteristics, which perhaps is the most symbolic, is the sky and the moon in the background. Judging by the darkness of the sky and the moon in the center, it is dusk. Night marks the end of a day, and symbolically, the approaching nighttime has marked the end of man's control over nature. The bright yet small moon in the sky adds a feeling of eeriness to the painting. It emphasizes the complete absence of man. All that is left is desolation. This leads the viewer to wonder, what will become of this uninhabited landscape? What will be of it when the sun rises and a new day begins? Overall, the crumbling of the structures, vegetation growing over the ruins of the city, and the moon and sky in the background all portray nature's dominance over man, and how man can only temporarily control nature. The crumbling of the structures marks the end of man's control over nature. The growing of vegetation shows nature's return to control, and the sky and moon portray the unknown, the idea of what will happen once the sun comes up. Nature being superior to man is one of the most important ideas of the Romantic period, and Desolation by Thomas Cole does a good job in illustrating it.